Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. How are you today? Cold day here in Los Angeles. Yeah. Okay. Today we are praying for Ukraine and standing with the people of Ukraine. And thank you all for coming for that. I don't know how you can do it. I cannot pay for gas anymore. It's so expensive. So this war is really so much nonsense that based on greed and all excuses that people make to satisfy their greed. It's so sad to see that. There's so much injustice and evil in the world. You know, and I'm glad that so many people in the world are standing united against the evil, against the greed, against this aggression that is totally uncalled for, unjustified. And war is no fun. War means that everyone has to pay the price. Now the world is so interdependent. We all depend on each other in so many ways. Each country is contributing to the world. So it not only it happens in Ukraine, but also affects us, affects our pocketbooks, affects ourselves, affects us in so many ways. And I was wondering, people talked about it. I was wondering, one of the things that people mentioned recently, the war is being financed by us. Do you realize that? Russia is basically makes its a major portion of its economy is based on energy sales. They sell gas and oil to Europe primarily and China. And so even though we boycott Russia and so forth, the world is still buying oil and gas from Russia. Did you know that? So basically, we are paying for Putin's war. Think about it. So be careful what we do. What we do really matters. We cannot be selfish and say, I need to take care of myself. When you take care of yourself like this, you're creating a lot of pain and suffering for others. Yes, one.
Mô Phật bạch Thầy, như vậy đó, cái này phải có nhân quả không Thầy?
Yes, of course, there's a cause and effect. And war is generated by cause and effect. And the war is a lot of killing going on, a lot of suffering going on. That's why we have to be aware of that. It's the killing karma primarily. A lot of people die because they killed and because of prior karmas. Okay, in particular, this goes unnoticed, denied, but it's the killing karma in particular from all these you meat eaters. Yeah, meat eaters. A good part of it is from eating meat. We kill a lot of animals. And so that's why in our outside world, war is unavoidable. They come back and make us pay. Okay? But from a closer thing that people can understand is we keep on feeding Putin's war chest by buying oil and gas from Russia. All these years, Putin has been in power for 30, 40 years, and we've been 50 years, and we've been making him and his cronies rich. Yeah, and we are paying for his army right now, and paying for his missiles and airplanes, and helicopters, and soldiers' salary to wage his war against Ukraine. Did you realize that? And so while we are doing sanctions to Putin and his cronies, we're still buying energy from them, because President Biden and the politicians are cautious not to make life too hard on us. Because if they stop buying oil and gas from Putin right now, the price will shoot up very high. And furthermore, for your information, no one knows about this. I'm the only one who follows worldly events. And then, furthermore, Russia is also in cahoots with Saudi Arabia, because Mr. Biden has offended the prince of Saudi Arabia, the de facto ruler of Saudi Arabia right now, a young prince who killed Khashoggi. You remember Khashoggi, the journalist who denounced the injustices and whatever in Saudi Arabia? The young prince ordered the execution of Khashoggi, the journalist and author. And because of that, Mr. Trump ignored it. Mr. Biden is giving the Khashoggi, that young prince, the cold shoulder, so they're not talking. So basically, Saudi Arabia is not pumping more oil to lower the gas price. That's why we pay more right now, because the young prince is unhappy with President Biden. They also say that Iran is also being sanctioned. We don't buy oil from Iran either. So I wanted to ask you this. Are you in support of us stopping buying oil and gas from Mr. Putin? Yes, Sarah. Sarah, our fearless Sarah would be in favor of paying more for oil and gas. We only depend very little on the oil and gas from Russia. It's Europe who primarily depend on oil and gas. Okay? But even in Europe, in the U.S. right now, we're cautious not to stop buying gas and oil from Mr. Putin. So on one hand, we send weapons and missiles to Ukraine to kill the Russians, and we also pay Putin money to buy missiles and make missiles and airplanes and tanks to send to Ukraine. It's just a nonsense we do. Can you imagine? It just doesn't make any sense at all. Yes, 8.
Altadi said Russia only gives us 8% of our oil.
3.5. Not even 8%. We are basically the largest oil producer right now in the world. So we are more or less self-sufficient as far as oil goes and gas goes. Yes, 7.
I would accept higher gas prices.
Okay, Sarah's cohort, Vicky. Okay, remember these names, Putin. I'm innocent. I have important work to do. I cannot afford to jeopardize myself. Okay, so Vicky also is willing to pay for more for gas. Sir? You have a fleet of 10 black cars. Are you willing to pay more?
If it's only 3.5%, why not?
Yeah, right now, U.S. only paying 3.5% of oil to the Russians. Huh? Serious. If you are dependent, you spend so much money on oil, on gas, are you willing to pay more just to stop and put the pressure, real pressure on Putin to stop the war? Because he's going to keep going. He's going to keep on killing people so that you save money. Yes, 8.
Yong mentioned it twice. Please do not talk about politics.
This is not politics. Yes? 3, yeah.
Well, the other alternative is to get electric car or gas car. So you don't have to use gas.
It takes too long, and they would shut down the economy. We can't do that. Here's what happens. Remember when there's World War I, World War II, everyone suffered. Okay, when there's a war, whenever there's a war, the whole world suffers because we are a lot more interdependent right now. Okay? And the point is that can we continue to afford to ignore the interdependency and on one hand helping, feeling indignant and angry about this senseless killing, and on one hand say, hey, it's money for you to go and do it. Because the real money is from the oil and gas. I'm asking you, can we afford to ignore it? Huh? Forget about names, forget about country. I'm asking you right now, can you afford to do it? You feel justified in doing it. Yes, 7.
Master, I see the problem too is the cause and effect of us doing that.
Okay. Are we back in business? Okay, one. Go ahead, 1. Yeah. Sorry, it's we plug in too many heaters here. Number 1, go ahead.
Phật bạch thầy, cái trường hợp như vậy đó, đạo Phật mình có giúp được những cái chuyện này cho chúng sanh không? Mô Phật.
What did you do, Along? Translation. The question is, can Buddhism do anything for living beings? What are we Buddhists supposed to do? We're supposed to stop creating offenses, directly or indirectly. That's why I bring it up to your attention. Okay, we've been paying for the war chest of these countries, of these people. And that's why they can afford to do it. And as soon as they do it, we continue to give them money to keep doing it. And then on one hand, we pay them to do it, and on the other hand, we help the victims. We feel indignant about the victims. And you cannot ignore. You have to look at the big picture. You can't ignore it. Yes, one.
Không có tiếp tay những người đó thì mình có tránh được cái nghiệp đó không thầy?
If you know about the cause that you are doing it, okay, and you stop it, you are helping yourself in not having to bear the consequences. Even if you're not aware of it, you still have to bear the consequences. Okay? But the point here is that unless you stop helping these people, these things will continue to happen. Yes.
Mô Phật bạch thầy, giống mình nói sang chút, giống về Việt Nam mình chiến tranh đó thầy.
Yeah.
Thầy có người thoát được những cái nạn đó, có người lại không thoát được cái nạn đó, mà có người lại thoát được cái hiểm nghèo, có người không thoát được những cái hiểm nghèo đó thầy.
Right.
So, Master, is similar to the war in Vietnam back then. Some people can escape from the difficulty, the suffering. Some people cannot escape from it.
Right. So what we're talking about are called the differentiation between common retribution versus proper retribution. Okay, the common retribution is that we, as a country, who decide to make purchase from these people. Okay, we are creating the common. We have to undergo the common retribution as a whole, as a country, as a world, for fomenting, for helping these people misbehave. That's called common retribution. Therefore, as part of the common retribution, we have to pay as a country, undergo the retribution as higher prices, scarcity, pain and suffering from as a whole, as a country. It's called common retribution. Okay, so it affects us. You cannot ignore it. On the other hand, there's also something called proper retribution, where it actually happens to us directly. See, the gas price is like common retribution. Okay, the scarcity of the food is common retribution. Okay, but proper retribution is us. Okay, meaning that, for example, your gas you live in Santa Anita, close to that area where the gas price is 10%, 15% cheaper than here in Rosemead. So, because I live in Rosemead, so my personal retribution, I pay more than you. So I can't, I usually go over there to fill up my gas. Okay, so there's a personal retribution as well. And as common retribution, we can't help it. We're affected by the politicians or by policies of the country. The emperor, the presidents, okay, us as a whole, as a country, created this common retribution, common karmas. Okay? So we have to undergo that as a country. Personally, however, So one side you have a common retribution, the other side you have personal retribution, which may offset each other. Okay, that's why. So when we cultivate, okay, people don't cultivate. The non-Buddhist people who are ignoring this, they all have to undergo the common retribution. Okay, for us, we Buddhists, we know a little bit better, so we create karmas, good karmas, offset it, like helping people who are suffering. Okay, and that's what a lot of people in the world are doing as well. Okay, they're doing that, and furthermore, we do even more than that because we know that you need to take care of yourselves, your personal. You need to create good karmas as individuals. So when you do that as part of your personal practice, you have these personal proper retributions where they tend to offset the common retributions. Okay? So we cannot afford to ignore this. So as a country, if we ignore it, the whole country suffers. But since we cultivate, we are shielded from that in some ways. Okay? So that's what it is. So if you have compassion for the people who are suffering, think also about our own countrymen, the other people who are suffering indirectly as well. Okay? And you have to be careful when you not to avoid helping evil people. That's very important. You don't want to make them stronger, more powerful. Because that's what they do. The more power they have, the more damage they do. For example, you have to discern between evil and just a selfish person. The evil person, the harm they do is far greater. A selfish person, like the young prince in Saudi Arabia, they're just selfish. They are harmless. I mean, they can't think of a bigger harm. They only think of themselves. Okay, so they say, I don't like you, I'm going to kill you. Okay, because it's a personal thing. It's not like they're trying to, affect the whole world. Okay, so you have to be careful as leaders of the country when you create this common karmas. Okay, you need to prioritize. You don't want to help the evil side. Just the same as we don't want to help evil people. Okay, and we should avoid helping evil people. If our politician like Mr. Biden, if I were him, I would tolerate the young prince in Saudi Arabia. He's just selfish. Yes, he makes mistakes, but you need to balance that versus the greater evil. Okay, so that I would call him and say, let's make peace and pump up more oil so that we can stop these, strengthening this crazy guy, these crazy people. Okay, they have to be careful. The thing about politicians, they're so short-term thinking, 4 years, 6 years only, and re-election, where they should, that because of that, we suffer because they don't see the big picture. Okay? As a reminder, we have to think big. You have to look at the big picture. Think longer term. Think for more people than just being Hinayana like Sangwok, who just want to be comfortable. Can't do that. Okay? Yeah. the nice thing about us, we're lucky in that we're able to talk like this. In other countries, I probably will be in trouble, big trouble, and in prison maybe, or bad things that happen to me. But we need to raise awareness of these important issues. Okay, it's connected to politics, but actually it's about wisdom. It is a responsibility you have that we all bear for our neighbors, for our compatriots. Okay? Yes, A.
Ask a unrelated question.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is from someone in San Jose. It was translated from Vietnamese to English, so we don't have the exact source. Venerable Sharon translated to English to her best ability. Emitofuo, I want to ask, in the Infinite Life Sutra, the part that describes the realm of ultimate bliss, saying that when one is hungry, thinking of food and food appears. After eating, it disappears. No need to go to the restroom, etc. And when the Buddha speaks the Dharma, people in that realm or the gods offer flowers. It is said that old flowers will fall and new flowers will emerge. If no one makes offerings, the old flowers will not fall but float in the air. I wonder if everything will appear just by thinking about it without going to buy it. Why isn't there always new flowers? But in the scriptures, it is said that when there are new flowers, the old ones will fall, leaving room for new ones. And when there are no new flowers, the old ones don't fall.
So why?
Venerable Sharon, so what's the question?
But what is the question?
So the question is like, if you only, whatever you think, and then whatever we think about, the items will appear, then why don't the flowers always appear, and then why it has to be disappear and replaced with a new flower, and then when nobody offer, and then the old flower is still floating in the air. So she was thinking why the Buddha did not make it like always appear the new flower.
5, do you have an answer for me?
I just think it's a matter of faith, Master.
Huh?
It's a matter of faith.
It's a matter of faith?
Yeah, because we can't have this idea of, oh, it's okay, I'm just going to think about food and I'm not going to get up and cook. Food is going to appear. It's a stupid idea of my son.
You don't believe it's possible?
I just think that it's a mind of someone that has pure thoughts and is faithful, and that's what I think it means. I'm sorry, that's my humble opinion.
Okay. Okay. A good thing you speak up. It's okay to speak up, even though you're wrong. Okay. First of all, it's not just in a Pureland, but here as well. When you go to the heavens where Catholic Daniel wants to go. Later, when you listen to the Flower Adornment Sutra, there's a section where it describes, I don't know we ever go into those chapters, but there's a section where it describes life in the heavens. But of course, those retributions are not as impressive as if you were to go to the Pure Land. When you go to the Pure Land, you have many more perks where you have food, that will come as you wish, with the flavor you want, whether it's you prefer Mexican or Vietnamese or whatever, it comes the exact flavor you want. For example, you used to Rosemead food like I am, it comes to you with exactly the same Rosemead flavors, Rosemead restaurant flavors. But if you are from Beverly Hills, you live in a nicer area, the food that you used to will come in that flavor. So the Vietnamese food is probably slightly better. Or is it worse? I'm not sure. Okay? But see, these subtleties, it's very interesting. Okay? In that whatever you wish, your expectations will be like that. So it will be individual. It's catered to individual preferences. Am I making sense to you? Okay. So, for example, for a person like me, who's only imagine Vietnamese food or Chinese food to be so good up to a certain point because that's all I've been exposed to. When I go to the heavens, when I go to the Pureland, that's what I'm going to have. Does it make sense so far? Because that's the extent of my imagination related to your faith. It's just my imagination. I said, I have $100 here, and I want to eat Mexican food, so I go to this taqueria in Rosemead, and this is what I expect in terms of Mexican flavors. So far, so good. But if you were richer, like who's richer than we are? Very few people are in Rosemead. I heard some people, another family, Go Yin's family, they have a craving for food, so they hop on an airplane and go and fly over there and eat, and then they come back. So in that vein, Go Yin's relative would hop on an airplane and go to Mexico City and have some tacos. Then they come back. And clearly, I think Mexico City tacos are better than Rosemead. What do you think? My point being, because you have more money, that's a measure of your blessings, and therefore you know more, and that's all. Your expectation, your ability to afford it, you'll be able to get it. I'm trying to make a point here. You understand the difference? My money is limited, therefore the best I can think of, the best I could afford is somewhere here, where I live. But the people who are richer, far richer, they say, okay, I feel like I'm going to give me the best I have, that I can buy, I can think of, that I know of. So they go and buy those things. So far, so good. They can afford it, and they can enjoy it because it's their blessings. That's my point. Money is a measure, is a reflection of your blessings. Is it clear? My blessing is limited, therefore I can only afford food here. Whereas richer people, they can afford much fancier food. Yes? So far, so good? Did one have something to say?
Nghĩ là mình đi Tây Phương đó, thì mình phải trồng những cái phước báo, mình mới được hưởng.
Yeah.
Mà mình không trồng.
You go into Western Bliss Pureland and you happen to land in the Rosemead equivalent quarters, that's all the food you're going to get. Thank you. She gets it. Precisely. That's why I want you to go to the nice neighborhood. Don't go to Rosemead. I mean, we have enough Rosemead here.
Mô Phật và Thầy, vì Thầy mình phải trồng cái phước báo rất là lớn, rất là nhiều mình để hưởng cái rất là tốt nữa.
You better understand it. It's a matter of blessings. Deny it all you want, but you find out when you get to your Western Bliss Pureland and say, hey, Master YongHua told me so. Now it's too late. Okay, so far so good. Now, let me finish the point. Try to answer the question. Okay, so the question is, how come the flowers, you have the food, you understand there's differences in food, right? For each of one of you, because it's your proper retribution. Your blessings will enable you to afford whatever you want. Yes? In food flavors, in clothing, and so forth. Is it clear? So, don't look down upon people who are poor you right now. Because by the time you see them in the Pureland, They may live in a better quarters than you because they have more blessings than you. Okay? Yeah. So think longer term. Don't think so, don't be so short-sighted. Now, the question is, how come the flowers? This question is very specific. How come the flowers, in some cases, they fall down, okay? And then as soon as more people make offerings, the flowers die so that new flowers can fall. Yes? Same principle. Understand? This person, you and Rosemead people, want to make flower offering. You want, I want to see flowers. So flowers fall down because it's your blessings. Yes? And then someone else says, in Rosemead says, I too want to see flowers. Okay? So their flowers appear because yours do not need to be there anymore. It's so much space. Okay? So you still have flowers yourself, but they have their flowers too. So far, so good. So it makes sense, right? So far, so good. Okay? Now, what about if there's no one who wants to make flower offerings? Your flowers don't die. They don't fall. Why is that? Can someone explain to me why not? It's so obvious. Oh, it's not to you, huh? Go there and you see why immediately. You would not even, say, what is the problem? Why don't you get it? Why can't you get it? It's so obvious. Only to me? Why? Huh? $5. Huh? Why not? Why does your flowers now don't die, they remain in the air? It's so obvious. Oh my God. You guys are terrible Pureland people. You cannot go to Pureland if you don't answer this right. Diego.
Maybe because the Pureland has always has to be adorned. So if no one else is making the offerings, it's not going to be adorned.
Anyone else? Yes, one. One is planning to go to the Pureland. Hopefully not Rosemead quarters.
Mô Phật, miễn mà mình ở Tây Phương á, thì nó cái hoa thì nó cái phước báo rất là ấy, luôn luôn lúc nào cái hoa nó cũng đẹp như vậy, cũng là đẹp, cũng là ấy. Rồi miễn mà mình đi khỏi trời đó thì cái hoa nó khác quá. Không biết hai cái nó có hay không? Mình đi khỏi trời đó cái hoa nó ấy đó, nó hết thì nó rụng xuống. Rồi mình ở Tây Phương Cực Lạc đó, cái hoa nó luôn luôn lúc nào nó cũng tại vì cái thế giới của nó là cái thế giới nó cái bằng thẳng là cái nó là cái thế giới là bằng vàng, mình đi bằng ở trên vàng không mà làm sao mà có ấy. Giống bây giờ mình ở nước Mỹ này đi thì quá là tốt đẹp rồi, mình mà ở dưới quê đó, ở dưới cái thế giới khác là ở dưới cái thế giới khác thì nó khác. Nhưng bây giờ mình ở đây nè thì mình rất là đẹp, mình ở dưới quê thì nó cái làm ruộng làm rẫy thì nó khác hơn nữa. Mô Phật không phải.
I think she may not even make it to Rosemead quarters in Pureland at the rate she's going. The reason that the flowers don't fall or wither when there's no one who wants to make offering is because still don't get it? Huh? But they die if they're people, new people. But if it's no new people, they don't die at all. Why the difference? Yes, 8. It's so obvious.
It floats around to let you see it, to remind you to get new flowers.
You get new flowers.
Yeah.
This person is not from the Pureland either. It's because it's Amitabha's will that the sky will have flowers. Yes, one.
Dạ thưa thầy, sao con ở đây đọc kinh hoài cũng thấy bệnh nhức đầu khó chịu quá. Vậy có ngày con đi cầu Quan Âm Bồ Tát sao mà con tụng kinh ở đây lâu lắm rồi cũng thấy bệnh. Rồi qua khoảng 10 ngày tự nhiên có một bà con đi khám bác sĩ bác sĩ Đông có bà nói em có người âm theo em vậy hả? Em nói bởi vì sao bệnh hoài nhức đầu khó chịu, có khi cái ngực nó khó chịu quá, nó nặng khó chịu. Bà dẫn đi coi, cái bà kia nói là em là người chị thân theo em người âm chị theo em vậy kêu em đi về mua một cái đi mới giống như là nói chuyện kêu cầu để em khỏi bệnh, khỏi chóng mặt, khỏi cầu 10 ngày rồi xong thì thấy cũng đỡ, không có chóng mặt, không có bệnh. Mà thì cầu xong là em thì bà kêu lấy một cái hương cái lon để hoài trước cửa cúng để giái mỗi ngày giái, nó kêu phù hộ cho mình đừng có bệnh. Vậy thì con thì không có làm, con trời ơi không có làm hả? Qua một ngày còn bệnh nặng nữa, khó chịu quá là khó chịu luôn. Rồi sau qua ngày thứ hai thì con điện thoại cho cái bà kia nói phải lấy cái lon để trước cửa cúng nó mới được, hứa giờ không cúng sao không được. Vậy thì tới bây giờ cúng mà sao mỗi lần cúng rồi mỗi lần đi chùa cũng đọc kinh cũng thấy khó chịu, không biết làm sao nữa. Dạ. Mô Phật.
Master, I have a question. I've been coming to the temple to recite the sutra, practicing here for a while, but I still have a lot of illness. I didn't feel well. I have headache and heaviness in my chest. And then I prayed to Kuan Yin. And then one day I went to visit the Eastern medicine doctor. I met a lady, and she told me that I have the invisible being that follow me. And she said that it was my sister that followed me. And then she showed me how to go home and then how to pray, how to make offering. And then I didn't follow her, and then the illness became worse. And then I called her and talked to her. She said, I show you the way and then you didn't follow. That's why now you need to do this and this. And then she showed me to put up, like to offer the incense and stuff in front of my door every day. And I think she said after 10 days she feel better. But now she wonder why she still continued to go to the temple and practicing and recite, doing the chanting, but then her illness still didn't get better.
It's a complicated thing, and I'm afraid there's not enough time to explain to you, or I'm not sure the rest of you are really interested in hearing her personal problems. Okay? So it doesn't work because she approaches the problem wrong. It's a simple answer. So the way she's been doing it is wrong. That's why it's not helping. Simple as that. So if she wants things to change, she has to change the way to address the problem. That's all. Okay? But the details, I don't think we have time to go into it. Okay? Let me finish the question. Yeah. The reason the flowers in the air when no one else is making flower offering is the power of the Buddha. Now it's no longer your proper retribution, but that's a common retribution, and that's also the Buddha's wishes. Okay, that's all. It supersedes your personal blessings. All right, so it's you see, it's the interdependency again. You cannot look at yourself only. Common mistake. People are too short-sighted, too narrow-minded. Don't do this. I don't want to hear it. Yes, one.
Mô Phật, cô này có kể những cái chuyện đó, tôi muốn thầy để khai thị cho người ta, cho cô biết gì đó. Muốn thầy, bây giờ cũng hết thì giờ rồi, hoặc là để bữa khác, hoặc là tôi muốn nghe cái câu chuyện đó. Hoặc là theo thầy hồi nãy nói đó, làm như cái người này đó muốn nhờ cổ giúp những cái chuyện gì.
Yeah, it's a personal thing. It's not meant for because this is a mixed audience where there are a lot of people who really are not Buddhists. Okay, so that's why they're not interested in hearing Buddhist things. We Buddhists have different ways of fixing problems, of solving our problems. Okay, so today I think we should stop here because we still need to do an intervention for Ukraine to try to help them as much as we can. Okay, so let's take a short break, 5 minutes, and come right back and do the lunch offering and the lengthening life transference. Okay, and I assure you, it helps. It helps that. What we're doing is helpful more than you think or imagine. Okay, thank you.